with $100, right? So the show's all about the $100 entrepreneur, right? How there's so many people that, again, back to earlier conversation, are trapped right up here. They believe they have to have tens of thousands of dollars to do this or that or whatever the case may be. What would you, the expert out there right now, what would you tell yourself if all you had to do was go get $100? I mean, all you had was $100 and you wanted to go do something.
The expert would be a little more prepared if you weren't setting me up like this and on the spot, but that's cool, okay?
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of it, right? We're gonna get a real answer now.
Right, yeah, $100. So, and I don't, if I'm off a couple dollars, okay?
Sure.
Yeah, because this goes back a little. You know, my first transaction works right into my entrance into real estate, creative real estate, right? There used to be a gentleman, he's passed away now, I think he passed away in 2006. His name was A.D. Kessler. He's the forefather of creative real estate, right? And he used to create this publication called Creative Real Estate Magazine. That was my first introduction. And in there, I read this thing called lease options, sandwich lease options. And effectively, it means that I can control a property, do stuff with it, get paid for it, and never have to buy it. And I'm like, well, this is my wheelhouse. I got no money, right?
Exactly.
I got squat, right? And I never heard this term wholesaling or anything like that. It was brand new to this stuff.
Totally.
So effectively, I set out to find a landlord who had a property that said for rent, that was willing to rent the property to me, lease it to me, and allow me to sublet it. That's effectively the methodology here.
Right.
And my only security would be this $100. And the way it went down was this, right? And I read all this out of this magazine. And went door to door to door, banging on doors. Now, it didn't occur to me, this is how ignorant I was. It didn't occur to me when I bang on a door that says for rent, that the landlord would not be the guy answering the door.
Exactly. The tenant cannot help you.
The tenant can't help you, and a vacant house can't help you either, right?
Right.
So it took me asking around, just inquiring, hey, do you know how to find out where I can find the landlord of this house, right? Like, well, we can go down to any town hall and look up records. They're free to you to go look at. They'll tell you exactly where they live. And then look up their telephone number. You can actually call them. And that's how this all started. I'll tell you, although it was difficult and hard work and scared the living crap out of me, my learning curve was through the roof just by doing it, dude.
I love it.
It was insane, right? So I called landlord after landlord, and you say, well, why did it take so many landlords? Because the first few I just choked on. I didn't know what to say because I didn't know what to say.
Right.
I didn't know how to introduce myself. I didn't have a definition for what I wanted to do. Couldn't explain why I only had $100. Had no answers to any of this stuff. But each time I called, it gave me a few more words to add to the conversation. Called another time, said a couple more stupid things, stopped, got off the call, kind of reviewed what just happened, figured out what better to say, and it added some more words to the conversation.
I love it.
And before long, I was, hey, Kemp, my name is Pat. I live in this town that you're renting a house. I see it's been rented for for rent for a little while. What I'd like to do is I'd like to lease that house from you, and then I'm going to go sublet it. I'm going to manage it for you. I'm going to pay you what you're asking each month. Are you interested?
Why wouldn't he be?
Why wouldn't he be? He said, yep, let's meet with one another. And in the time that I said that to the time I met him, which was about, I think, a 24-hour window, I learned another technique called an option. And I'm like, I can buy a house on an option with $100 down. That's all I knew. So as we sat down in the conversation, I said, Kent, yeah, I appreciate you meeting me. I brought paperwork that I just printed off, right? And then, mind you, this is a long time ago, so it's literally in a printer. You know, like this old school, funny ink printer, right? And you don't make change on this stuff from a word processor, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Pre-computer kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah, I'm not that old, but anyways, yeah. Printed off, so it was a one-shot deal, and then as we're signing the lease and kind of working on the price, at the exact same time I said, oh, I need this one signed too. He goes, what's that? He goes, well, I spoke about it as if I knew what it was, really had no idea what it was. And I'm reading the option. Oh, this is simple, it's standard option agreement. It said standard option agreement. It says I have the right to buy the house for, I'm like, ah, shit, $75,000. Had to pull a number out of my butt, and I have 5 years to do it. And the $100 I give to you is called an option fee, and it's non-refundable. And as I spoke those words, I wanted to pull them back because I was like, my money's not refundable?
Yeah, it's not coming
This
back.
is leaving my pocket and never coming back? And I was like, my $100 at that point.
Right.
And he's like, let me look at that. And we'll do it. He's like, you got a deal. And I was shaking this guy's hand. So I had no idea what I had just done, but I got into the real estate game. Long story short, one of my best friends to this day still lives in that house. I had no idea what to do with it. My best friend and his wife were with their first young child, who's now my godson, needed a place to stay. They started renting it, and then they wanted to buy it. So instead of going through a Sam's lease option, I just sold them the whole package, which meant officially my first wholesale deal.
Yeah.
$5,000.
So basically what you did is to break it down, is you sold the package to them and said, you give me a $5,000 fee, and at any time in the next 5 years, you're basically assuming my rights in this contract, you can buy this house now for
$75,000.
You put $100 down to make that happen.
Yes.
They paid you $5,000 to jump into your, basically take over your position in that contract.
Exactly.
And while they were doing that, they were still renting a house.
Yeah.
Right, along the way.
Yeah.
And were you making a spread on
No. Once I sold them the lease and the option.
I love it.
I stepped out of the whole thing. I was out completely. So I netted $4,900. And when you only have $100 and then you don't even have $100,
I'm going to tell you that's a pretty good return.
That's a pretty good return.
I'm not a math whiz, but I think it's a good return.
Worked for me.
49 to 1. And how long did that take?
That was probably a 2-week from.
So you got a 490%
first phone call to cashing
return,
out.
490% return in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 14 days.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good investment.
And learned a whole lot. It instilled a belief in me that it's okay if I'm not perfect now. It's okay if I don't know now. Just step forward. Just keep moving forward. That's the greatest lesson I probably got out of that right now. You know, that deal, dude, you can do 1,000 times over as long as you're okay with just stepping into it.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome.
It's cool, right?
If people want to figure out how to get in touch with you, hear more about your story, where should I send them?
I have a domain, patrickprecourt.com.
patrickprecourt.com.
Yeah, or find me on Facebook, either way.
Cool, man.
Here, look up your shit. I'm on there, too.
I appreciate you, brother. Guys, that's what we got today. Hopefully that helps. Take care. Peace.
Peace.